Hi, I'm Melanie, and I went to Australia. I'm in grade 10. I picked it because I knew it wasn't completely different from here, and it wasn't as big as a jump as, say, India or Japan in a shorter amount of time, as well as it was just a place I really wanted to go.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm in grade 10, and I went to Melbourne, Australia. I wanted to go to Australia because it would be a fun experience to go as far away as that. I've never been that far, and just experience the climate and the new people and places. It was good to also have an English-speaking country. But if you're taking another language, it would probably be really cool and helpful to your studies to go to a place that speaks the language.
Hi, my name is Oria, and I'm in grade 9 this year. This spring break, I went to China for an exchange. I chose to go to China because my mom is from China, and also because I've been taking Chinese lessons for several years now. I really wanted to see how school went in China, and I wanted to improve my Mandarin speaking.
Hello, my name is Kiran. I went to Woodstock School in Missouri, India in grade 11. I knew I was open to doing study abroad, but a friend who had gone to Woodstock the previous year returned and just had so many great things to say about it, and he felt that I was kind of a perfect fit for the Woodstock School, so he was the one that just kind of gave me a really high recommendation to go there, and I went for it.
My name is Jasper, I'm in grade 10, and this past March break I had the fortune of going to China on exchange. So I decided to go on the trip because I've been taking Mandarin for a long time, since I was in grade 6 at the school. I've developed a deep passion for the culture and the language, and therefore I really wanted to go to China. It's been my dream to go for a long time. I was very happy to be able to fulfill it.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm in grade 10 and I went to Melbourne, Australia. I just thought it would be really interesting to travel to Australia, and it's pretty similar to Canada, so it wouldn't be too much of a culture shock going there, but it was still far away enough to be big adventures.
Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm in grade 10. I went to Melbourne, Australia. Since I was little, I've always really wanted to go to Australia, and the fact that I got to go there for 6 weeks and be a part of the culture and integrated in the society, I really wanted to go.
Hi, my name is Tyne. I'm in grade 10, and I went to Northern Normandy and Bretagne. I was in French immersion since I was 2 years old. I was doing it for 10 years and I spoke it fluently, but then when I changed schools, I didn't have the fluency I desired. And so I had my written down, and my written French was pretty great, and so I thought, you know what, let's do oral. And my parents were for me going on an exchange because they wanted me to be a bit more independent. And I definitely wanted to be a bit more independent, so I thought it would be cool to go on an exchange to France.
Hello, my name is Emily. I am in grade 11 and I went on the Quebec exchange to Montreal. I decided to go to Quebec because, first of all, my aunt had lived in Quebec, Montreal for over 20 years and was very enthusiastic for me to go there. Also, I take French at school and I'm really interested in improving my French and also learning more about the country in Montreal, since I find it a very interesting culture. I really liked all the snow, and so that was a good thing to do there, and I'm considering going to university there.
My exchange family was really nice. I was really comfortable with them, and it was pretty much just like home.
The host families I stayed with in China were really nice. For the week and a half I stayed there, they attended to my every need. I was almost the center of attention the whole time. They really feel like my second family.
The family I stayed with was really, really friendly. They welcomed me into their home right away and took me to Sydney and to the coast and made sure I was having fun the entire time.
So while at Woodstock School, I stayed in the dorms, and that was lots of fun. It was a four-story house of all girls, and I had actually 5 roommates at the start. I had one of the larger rooms, but as the months went by, some of the girls moved out, and we just had 3 girls for a 6-person room. So we were definitely kind of the hot spot of our floor, lots of dance parties, and each floor was divided by grade, and then we had the brother dorm, which was just a few blocks walking, and there was a courtyard that we could meet up with and hang out every day. So
The people I stayed with were really, really nice. They were one of the sweetest families that I've ever met and stayed with. It consisted of my homestay girl named Zoe, her younger sister, and she also had an older brother who was in college. And then there were the mother and father, and they were both very nice. They didn't speak as much English. The father spoke a lot of English, but in some way that was a good thing because then it really forced me to practice my French.
My best experience in China was going to school. I loved the kids there. The schools were huge and there were lots of kids, and I felt that every single one wanted to get to know me and take a picture with me.
Got to go to Sydney. It was cool to see the Opera House because you always see it in movies and you just know it. Then you get to see it. It's this big monument.
Well, Miss Hoskins, who's the equivalent of Miss Wilson, took all the exchanges to Hillsville, which is an animal sanctuary just outside of Melbourne, and we got to feed kangaroos, which was really fun.
One of the highlights for me was the Diwali festival. Some friends invited me to stay at their place in Delhi, and the Diwali festival is pretty much the festival of lights, so it's pretty much the American 4th of July on steroids. So we had lots of firecrackers and 4 dinners that night, stayed up till 1 in the morning, and just constant sound and just craziness and lights and lots of festivals that are going on throughout the streets and music and getting dressed up in traditional dress, so that was a good time.
One of the most unique experiences that I had while I was in China was on our first day in Zhengzhou. While we were there, we had the opportunity to speak in Mandarin, introducing ourselves in front of 2,300 people. It was quite an experience and something I'll certainly remember for the rest of my life.
The best experience I had there is very hard to imagine because I consider the entire exchange as one experience, and I think that it was all amazing, almost every part of it. One of the highlights for me particularly was going to the Biodome, which is a huge dome in Montreal that has just a bunch of animals in it and real-life forests and different climates and animals. I found that really, really cool.
My best experience? Colleen, Lulu, and their mother and I, and their grandmother actually, we went to Mont Saint-Michel, and it was a 10-kilometer bike ride there, 10-kilometer bike ride back, so 20K. I was really terrified because I like running, not so big on biking, but it was a really cool time. We walked up all the stairs. There are quite a few, but it was a lot of fun. We made a day out of it and had a picnic and all that.
Just make sure you have all your utensils for doing your work. I forgot my calculator, which is pretty annoying, but in the end I just worked it out. So just double check that you have everything that you need to do your homework.
I would choose a language that you're comfortable with because while I was comfortable with French, all I had to worry about was, the whole social part of it. So that was nice, whereas a lot of people I knew, they were worried about the social part, but also they didn't know the words to use. So I would definitely want to be comfortable with the language.
Think about first where you're going to have the most fun, but also think about maybe the languages you could improve. As you prepare to leave for an exchange, keep positive and think of the trip as a once-in-a-lifetime experience where you're going to have a great time.
I would recommend just know where your comfort zone is and what you would want to do when you're traveling outside of the country and what your interests are, and so that would help make a decision and just with what you're interested in, I guess. So.
I think one thing to be mindful of when you visit a new country is kind of almost make yourself pretend that you're one of them, and I think that will make yourself as well as the people you're around the most comfortable. I think if you're constantly trying to make a statement of what your home culture is like, sometimes that can maybe make things a little more difficult in terms of just interacting. So just from the get-go, just trying to pretend that you're one of them and try to yeah, just be a part of their culture as much as possible.
Make sure you talk to your teachers well in advance and get all the required work you need before you leave, and just make sure you stay on top of your work while you're in Australia and filling out the notes and everything, and you'll be fine.
I would choose somewhere that really interests you and you knew that you were going to be comfortable going to for that amount of time, and just be prepared to try new things and really take the full advantage of the trip.
They really have to think about the kind of people they want to meet because it's different everywhere. And in Australia, I liked it because it wasn't too much of a culture shock. It was pretty similar to here, so it was easy to get along with the people there.
A lot of times it's really easy to get attracted to the places that are very similar to your culture, and kind of, go for what's the most comfortable, but honestly, in your lifetime, those are probably going to be the places you end up going anyways, so you might as well push yourself to go somewhere that you're probably not going to get the opportunity to go to otherwise. And yeah, I'd say go for the most bizarre experience, because that'll be, in my opinion, what you get the most out of. Academically, you'll have lots of opportunities to kind of see what the curriculum is like at the school you'll be attending, and so just make sure that your courses kind of line up to their curriculum, and make sure you're communicating with your teachers prior to leaving so that you can organize kind of any extra work that you need to do, or kind of a communication process that you'll have while you're away.
Depending on the amount of travel experience that someone has, it really depends, and for some people there could be a large aspect of culture shock, which there was for me because I had never been to Asia before, and so it's really just something to consider, and how people may feel a bit uncomfortable on their first day on location, but give it some time and they'll definitely get used to it and they'll find that they really enjoy it.
I would definitely talk to my teachers first and make sure I've got all the required work. And while you're there, just make sure you're taking the notes and keeping up online. And
certainly all these experiences definitely give us a better global perspective, and although I personally had to miss a few days of school before going on the trip, it was well worth it, and I'm glad that I went.
In deciding what country you'd like to go to, choose one that you feel best suits you and what you'd like, your interests, where your interests lie. Obviously, the geography and the language, and also what you're learning and how long you're going there for, are all things you want to look into.
Preparing to leave, you really have to communicate with people here because you have to make sure you're caught up when you get back. It was nice to be able to email and have Moodle to check our notes and stay filled in and have a plan for when I got back.
While on the exchange, it's really important to try to be as proactive as possible. I find that a lot of the people there are a bit timid and shy, and if you take the first step talking to them, relationships and friendships will occur much quicker and they'll be stronger. A person who should go on exchange is one who loves to travel, definitely. Also make sure that you're prepared to go on an exchange and you're mature enough mentally and emotionally, because it will be spending a lot of time away from your family. You might not be able to contact them every day if they don't have internet or other phone usage. You also want to be mature and kind of mentally too, because you have to make sure your grades don't fall down and make sure that you're safe while you're on the exchange.
Well, I think it's definitely helpful if you're outgoing and pretty easy to get along with and adventurous, I guess, because it is a pretty big step to go all the way across the world. So just make sure that you're ready for that and ready to be able to make new friends and enjoy your time.
I kind of feel like any characteristics would be fine, just you have to realize that if you're staying silent the entire time, you're not going to get to know people. Like, as a sign of respect, sure, but it's like if you think about someone who's coming to your house, you don't want them to be silent the entire time. You want to have them making jokes and having a fun time. So all they want is for you to have a fun time, so just remember that.
If you're thinking of going on exchange, you really have to be ready to try new things and be really open-minded, I think. And being very confident so you can get to know the people there is also really important.
So I think the primary thing for being prepared for study abroad is just primarily just being open-minded. It doesn't really take a certain personality. I think if you just kind of allow yourself to be comfortable once you arrive to the new country and are just open to other people's ways of thinking and ways of living, then you'll find it very enjoyable.
Someone who'd be outgoing and confident in new environments. You meet a lot of new people while you're there, and really just take the full advantage of the trip to try all the new things there.